Let's talk Mandalorian Chapter 6, The Prisoner. So as we said in the past, a new episode, a new adventure. Much like Clone Wars and Rebels, this is just a great way to expand the universe on a much larger scale and on more intimate terms. So Mando lands at some random spaceport and meets Ran, who is a former colleague or a former team member. It turns out Ran needs Mando, or rather Mando's ship Razor Crest, for a 5-person prison break. We find out the point person for said heist is none other than Bill Burr? Bill Burr plays Mayfield, a former Imperial sharpshooter, and it's at this point that we get a nice, humorous little jab at stormtroopers.
Former Imperial sharpshooter. That's not saying much.
I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise ass.
That's self-awareness for you. From there, we meet the crew, and it's at this point I realize that this episode is just chock full of celebrities calling in favors to cement their place in Star Wars universe history. First, we've got the Muscle, Berg, played by Clancy Brown. It's a good look for him. It's kind of like his very own Hellboy. Next, we have Zero, who's voiced by Richard Ayoade, who is from the IT Crowd. Finally, we have Xi'an, played by Natalia Tena, Osha from Game of Thrones, or Nymphadora Tonks from Harry Potter. And it seems Mando and Xi'an have history. And as I said, this episode is just filled with cameos, because even Stephen Blum, the voice of Wolverine, and Spike Spiegel is a spaceport worker here. Cameos and references. This whole episode is filled with them. From Cantabite all the way back to Jar Jar Binks and the Gungans. So the crew is having some good old-fashioned fun on the ship before they arrive at their destination, until they discover Baby Yoda. And of course, here he is.
Huh?
Right away, you can tell that the job is going to go sideways, because right before they get to their destination, they all look at each other in some weird scheming fashion. Also, how dare you drop Baby Yoda? As they enter the prison vessel, we see a variety of prisoners, one of which looks like a Jedi. I'm glad and all, I love Jedi and stuff like that, but, with Jedi Fallen Order and Rebels, it seems like that the story of the last Padawan, Caleb Doom, his story is being minimized to full effect with all of these Jedi surviving Order 66. From Ser Junda, Cal Kestis, to Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, to some rando dude on the prisoner vessel. I don't know, maybe it's not a Jedi and it's just some rando in robes. Anyways, we get some great action choreo as Mando destroys a group of droids as the crew looks on, and it appears this heist is being done by people who know absolutely nothing about each other. There are looks here and there from Mayfeld which would suggest that he has never seen these people do what they do, like when Berg slams 2 droids and throws them like ragdolls. He's like, that's what you can do. And they're looks of genuine surprise, which is kind of odd for a crew. So the job goes sideways as a distress beacon is activated. The vessel was actually supposed to be manned by droids, but now they have the New Republic on their butts. To absolutely no one's surprise, the crew betrays Mando to release Xi'an's brother Quinn, and oh, are they going to regret crossing Mando. And while Mando handles things on his end, Baby Yoda makes his move on Zero. Mando dispatches the crew and creeps on Mayfeld Dark Knight style and leaves the crew imprisoned on the prisoner vessel. The situation that Mando is in is more like Firefly than I realized. Starving for financials, accepting jobs for money, job goes sideways, move on to the next job, burning bridges along the way. I think this episode was more of a feeler for Mando to build his own team, because we're definitely getting a team with Mando at the helm. And we've seen numerous hints at Mando building his own team as well. Also, interesting tidbit in this episode, Baby Yoda's force fails him. I'm sure we'll go more into detail in future episodes, but it's interesting to think that Baby Yoda's little force lift in the earlier episode might have been an act of desperation, as we really haven't seen too much force hoodwinks from the little guy ever since. In any case, Mando leaves with the tracking beacon on Quinn for good measure and walks away paid with a little side of retribution. Okay, I'll be honest here, the action was enjoyable, but the subplot was just mediocre. Although TV shows will always have plot development and narrative driving episodes, this one felt a little fillerish to me. But what's more is that it definitely felt like an episode where a bunch of celebrities called in a favor, and, you know, wanted to be part of the universe in some way, shape, or form. And I get it, celebrities do cameos in Star Wars all the time, a la Stormtroopers. Berg fit in, even Xi'an fit in. But I wasn't really taken in by Bill Burr's performance. If I were Mando, and I met Mayfeld, and we were about to do a heist or run some type of job, the way he carries himself, all jovial in nature and just jesting all the time, I wouldn't trust him to run point on grocery shopping. In any case, the episode was still a little bit enjoyable. We got some great action with Mando, we got some Dark Knight action, and we still got Baby Yoda. We got to see some New Republic X-Wings just haphazardly shoot upon a spaceport that had a tracking beacon on it, which begs to question what was going to happen if they had arrived at the prison vessel. Is their first response to shoot down a tracking beacon? If the guy that was on the ship prior had triggered the beacon and been alive and held hostage, would they have rescued him or would they have just shot them down completely? Because that was a pretty, you know, weird response. I don't know if this is just a blunder, but maybe that's just how messed up the New Republic is. In any case, if they were trying to create a sense of dystopia in this New Republic, it's increasingly looking that way. In the grand scheme of things, it's one of those episodes that's definitely skippable if you were hard-pressed on time and didn't want to watch it, but we all know everyone's going to watch each and every episode, and so that's just the nature of the beast. The Rise of Skywalker is officially 1 week away, which means The Mandalorian Chapter 7 is going to air Wednesday, December 18th. The timing is definitely precisely calculated up to the point where you think that there might actually be a tie-in in the movies. And it got me thinking, if Palpatine is returning, is there any significance to Baby Yoda's existence? While according to the timeline, Baby Yoda would be around 80, 90 years old by the time of the Rise of Skywalker, and it'd still be a toddler in their species. And I wonder if they did include Baby Yoda in the movie in some way, shape, or form, what role would it play? Would it play a role in defeating Palpatine? Would there be a reprise in Sidious vs. Yoda? That's a stretch, but something worth getting hyped over in terms of possibilities. In any case, that's my review of The Mandalorian Chapter 6, The Prisoner. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you can see when I post new videos, usually every week on The Mandalorian Day, but be on the lookout next week as it'll release on Wednesday, December 18th. And be on the lookout for my Rise of Skywalker review as well. Until then, may the Force be with you, always.